Hello, so welcome. And this is we're building our first Tableau dashboard with this video. And so the first time when you click on your Tableau icon, I pinned into my taskbar. So the first screen that comes out is the continue trial, and you don't click activate because you don't have a product key. Remember, this is the trial version. So I click on continue trial, and this is the default startup page. I have this file here because I built like a practice file, but if you don't have any file in there yet, so this is there's nothing going to be here. Or if you have a workbook, a Tableau workbook you built earlier on, and then you could click on open a workbook and it goes to the folder, and then you could search the folder. So now these are our connectors. We talked about connectors the first day of the class. So these are connectors, so you can connect from the Tableau server, you can connect to a file, so either Microsoft Excel, text file, JSON. And remember, just like in Power BI, if you are connecting to a file, if you're connecting to a PDF file, you won't select the option of connecting to an Excel file. So if you connect to an Excel file, you make sure you click an Excel file. But I think most of the worksheet, the documents you're working with, your data sets should be stored in Excel files or CSV files. So if it's a CSV file, you can select the text. I think you have the text file. But then since you're working with an Excel book, so we will click the Microsoft Excel option. And so let me just show you. So there are different connectors, and if we click more, so it depends on, it goes to where you want this to go to and you search. Or if you're connecting to a server, you click more and it gives you tons of server. There are 71 installed connectors, right? But then additional connectors, this is showing because I'm not connected to the internet. So if I was connected to the internet, about 38 extra additional connectors would have come up. So about 3 years ago, it used to be just about 7, but now I think they're about 38. So it keeps growing. So in case, in the future you want to work on it or you're explaining, so you just know they keep adding more connectors. So that's it. So now let's connect. So I want to connect to a Microsoft Excel file, and I'll go to Microsoft Excel. I already stored it in this. And so there are other workbooks, there are other documents here. But because I selected Microsoft Excel, only the Microsoft Excel files popped up, right? So now I want Sample Superstore. I click on Sample Superstore and I open. Sample Superstore is the file we're working with. So now I have Sample Superstore, and that's the name of the file. So it comes here, Sample Superstore. So if I had opened the Sample Superstore, if it's open already here, it wouldn't load. So you need to close the file to load it in case you're having that issue. And then in the Sample Superstore, if you're looking at it on an Excel book, on an Excel file, an Excel app, you can see that there are 3 worksheets in this workbook. So we have the orders worksheet, we have the returns worksheet, and we have the users worksheet. But for this class today, we'll be talking about only the orders. We're working with only the orders worksheet. So I'll click on the orders worksheet. So either I click or I can easily drag and drop. Remember, we said Tableau, it's drag and drop. So I do drag and drop. And it comes up. So when it comes up, I have a preview of what the data set looks like. Now, if I want to add another worksheet, another data source. So I click on connect, add connections. Look at my cursor, follow my cursor at the top left hand. So you see this, good. And I click on add, and I select again what I want. So let me, for example, I select another Microsoft Excel. So because I stored this in this for easy access, I stored this also in the same folder, and I click on it and open. It comes in. So now I have two folders. All right, I have two data sets which I need to work with. So if I have to connect them, which is beyond the scope of this training or the scope of this class, I have to select new union and I try to join. You obviously did union in your SQL class, and then it's modeling when you're trying to model in the Power BI class. So I'll take this off because I don't want this. So I go back here and I don't want the XLOOKUP project, and I remove. So if you want to rename it, if you want to edit the connection, that means you want to choose another connection, not this one you edit. But I totally want to remove it, so I remove. So I have my original Superstore data. Good. So now we have this sheet. You can see sheets under these connectors. You can see sheets, and you see use data interpreter. It says data interpreter might be able to clean your Microsoft Excel workbook. Take note of the might. Remember, we said that you can only clean your data set in my Tableau Prep, and Tableau Prep is a paid software, and we don't have access to that. So remember, you can always clean your data set in Power Query before you bring it into Tableau. However, it can help you. So when you say okay, when you check on the use data interpreter, which is helps you to maybe clean it, and you click on it, yeah. So now look at it, it's done. So it's trying to clean to the best of its ability. So to be honest, I didn't really check this data if it's clean, but it's usually just like a clean data set, right? So that is what we're going to do. So I use the cleaned. So data is cleaned with the data interpreter. So yes, we have it here. But let me show you. Just pay attention to this. Yeah. And if I uncheck this, well, yeah, there's not a lot of changes. So I'll just leave it like that. But then please don't rely on the clean with data interpreter. Don't rely on that, because this is automated and sometimes it won't do the right thing. So you always need to check. So now we'll look at the different data types. This is not a good, with this is not a good view. So let me close it. So this gives us the data type. So this function, like a hashtag, is like shows that it's a numerical value. The ABC shows that it's a text value. And then I'll scroll. If I want to scroll through this, look at down, follow my cursor down under the row ID down. You can see the cursor here. So I push, so you can see it's just numerical and text. And for geographic, yes, so geographic, so these are locations. So geographic is showing text, but then you can change it to geographical. You can change it to geographical. Let me look through this. So if you want to change the data type, you click on this, on the icon, and I say geographical role. So I could do region or something, but let's leave it as it is, because you already have country, and I don't want us having problems. So let me just leave it as it is. So now we have order. So because it's the state, so we have state or province. It's definitely a geographical location. So we have the geographical icons. We have the order date and the ship date. These are date values. And we continue. Yeah. So we have date, we have geographical, we have the numerical values, and we have the text values. So that's it. So now, so when you bring in your data, it shows just data source. You're on the data source. And so when you're looking for where to start working on when you want to start working on the data set, you click go to worksheet. So you open sheet 1 down here. Down by the left hand down corner, so sheet 1, and I click on sheet 1. Ta-da! So now welcome to our page. So I'll do a quick rundown of our page, right? So here we have, so when you bring in your data, Tableau automatically separates your data into categorical values and numerical values. Or should I say numerical value? Yeah. Okay, so now it becomes, remember when you have a data set, like, right, you have the dimension table and you have the fact table. That is where you have to do your modeling. So what are dimension table and categorical table? So you dimensions, which are categorical data of the data set. What describe is a description, and then the facts, fact values are the main business figures, the main business numbers. So we're looking at profits, we're looking at different kind of things. So sales, those are the numbers, the business numbers. So good. So this is where we are. So it says measure name, so it brings it down, the number numerical, and the ones that are categorical, it puts them up here. So that's how, so in case you're going to look for it, so just bear that in mind when you're looking for it. So now I'll walk you through this. So this is data where we are, and then worksheet. It means that I clicked on the new worksheet, so it helps you customize your worksheet, what you want to do with it. And this is the dashboard. When we're working on the dashboard, this is going to come highlighted. So a dashboard is a collection of different sheets. So that is the end. After creating our different charts, we couple them, we put them together in a dashboard. And then this is a story. A story is when you put 2 or more dashboards together, it gives you a story. That is definitely outside the scope of this lesson, but I just want to let you know. Then we have analysis. This is when you now start creating your charts. You have different analysis. You can show trend lines, you can forecast. If you have, like, I think this data set ends in 2024, so we can forecast to, let's see, 2025 and 2026 and different things. So you just need to play around. There are too many things here. If you want to create a calculated field, it's the same thing. You click here and you can create a calculated field which comes to the measures side. And then maps, if you have a map visual, you use this in editing your map visuals or your map charts here. And format is like just different formatting. Also play around this to know what you want. And then the server mainly takes you to the what I think as a beginner, all you're interested in this server tab is public, Tableau public. That means when you sign in and you click Tableau public, it publishes your work right to the Tableau public, your Tableau public profile. So anytime you log into your Tableau public, you can see it. And then Windows, this is like the presentation view. You want to see how it looks when you finish, how it's going to show. And help is, yes, all the help. We always have help in different softwares. So that is what it's about. Good. So now let's go to our main interface. So this is our main interface. This is the main interface. This is where we work on. So we have the columns and the rows. And when you have your columns and your rows, this is where you drop your data. This is like the axis. Columns and rows, this is your axis. And this is the pages. You can do animations here or whatever you want. When you have your data, you can see how it works. Filter, when you're trying to filter data, maybe by category or by year or by this. Yes, this is where you have filters, like in the when you're using the filters in Power BI, where by the side. So this is where you do your own filters in Tableau. And here, this is the max. This is a very interesting part. The color, when we start working, you see how it works. So the color is when you want different colors, like legends, when you want different colors, so you drag and drop what you want and put it here. The size, this is the size of your visual or whatever it is, but usually the size of your visuals. And then this is text. So these are like when you want to put like numbers, text. You want text to show. Also like data labels. This is all you do that. Details, there are lots of details you can add. So you do that with it. And then tooltip, I think it was beyond your scope in Power BI yet. So tooltip, like extra information about something, you can add a tooltip. So that's how it works. Then, this is where we create our charts. Then these are your charts display. So there are different charts here. So when you put in values you put in the values, this lights up, and this light up, it just shows you what you can create with these you have here. So you just play around it. So it's not like Excel. I think Excel is quite limiting, because Excel it doesn't tell you, oh, this cannot work, this can work. So it's when you click on it, it says, no, you don't do this, you can't do that. So that's just how it works with this. I'll also go this. So if you want to save, you click on the file and you save, save, and then save as. Save as allows you, like in every other thing, save as allows you save where you want and how you want it. Yes. And we have here, this is to undo. If you don't want to do it again, this is undo. Power BI doesn't have undo. Tableau has undo. And you can redo. And this is the save. This is when you want to add a new data source. You click this, like when I did when I brought in the XLOOKUP project. So if you're already in here and you want to bring in another data source, you click on this. And this is for refresh. If you don't want to refresh you want to pause updates, because maybe there are sometimes you're working with a data set that gets automatically updated, maybe every day, at the end of every day, every week, or every month. You can choose, oh, I don't want it automatically updated. Just pause and leave it as it is for me. This is to add a new worksheet. So you can do it here or do it here. You can do it up here under the map, or you can do it down here, down at the end, new worksheet. So when you do this drop down, either you're adding a new worksheet or a new dashboard or a new story. So that's how that one works. This, what's this again? I don't know. Well, I think when it gets highlighted, when it gets highlighted, I'll show you. But just in case I forget, but this is to swap the rows and column. If you want to switch the axis, this is what you do. So we can always do that. This is to ascending or descending order, both of them. And these are just edit, highlights, adding group members if you want to share your information, text, fixing axis, making them stable, standard. This is like your worksheet, your canvas, how you want it to be. This is another editing. What you want to show. So max, I don't want the title to show, and it goes off. I want the title to show, things like that, the caption, max, etc. And this is the presentation view. Okay, so very quickly, without wasting our time, so first I'm going to try and create KPIs. KPIs are we all know what KPIs are. So we all know what KPIs are. So I just want us to show, actually I want to show you the key KPIs. I'll just do, because we're building a dashboard, so I'm going to do this KPIs. So the key KPIs, I want to see sales, total sales. I always try to rename my pages. Total sales, KPI. Everybody wants to see sales. Are we making sales? So I bring it in as a text. Yes. And I don't want this. I say hide title. Yes. So sales, I have sales. and I bring in, I want to do total profit. Total profits. Total profits KPI. And I bring it again. I go down here and I look for the profit and I bring it in as a text. So remember, I can right click and hide the title, or I can go here. Remember this top place, and remove the title, uncheck the title. Yeah, so that's how I have for profit. I want to know the total quantity sold. So I want total quantity sold. So this is quantity ordered, right? So quantity, and I put it as a text, right? And I click on, yeah, I do this, and I don't want this, so I hide it. We can also do, let me add some dimension, categorical data, so you see how that works. So I want, let's do total customers, number of customers. Number of customers. So what do I do? That's going to be count. Do we do count, or let's see how it's going to work? So you work with me. So this is a customer. I'm not going to use the customer name. I always use the unique values. So and the unique value is going to be the customer ID. So I click on the customer, I drag. Remember, we're dragging and dropping on text. Now, this is not, this doesn't come out right. So so I'm going to do this on the drop down. And I want it to come out, because this is categorical data, so it's showing like this. It's not numbers. So I'm going to come here, open this up, this beside this peel, this customer ID peel, you drop down, and I want it to serve as a measure. Measure means I want it to act as a number. And remember, I always try to refer to other tools you've used to make it easier for you. So like, in Power BI, when you put a categorical data in the axis for numbers, it just does count, automatic count, right? So now I'm going to change this to a measure to make it a number so we can count, and I count. So this is what it is, 9,426. But this is not right. Remember, there is count and there's distinct count. Count it like the number of times, it counts the number of times these customer IDs appear. But what I want is a distinct count. So a distinct count gives me how many. So when count does, if customer ID, let me say customer ID 2 appears 500 times, it's going to add up 500 for me. But if I'm using distinct count, the customer ID is just going to appear once. Number 2 is going to just appear once. Even if it appears 500 times in these others data set, it's just going to appear once. Distinct count. So I just want 1, 1, 1 as unique, the unique numbers. So I'm going to do distinct count. So you can see it turns from 9,000 something to 2,703. So this is more realistic. We have about 2,700 different customers. Good. So this is what I'm going to do for this. And let's do it again for, do we have city or state? Okay, we have city. Good. So let's do count of city, number of cities. So we want to know how many cities we operate in. Number of cities. I'm just doing this to show you an example. I don't tell you to build your dashboard like this. So you know what you want to see. You know what your client wants to see, because remember, you're not building the dashboard for yourself. You're building your dashboard depending on the business case you're solving, depending on what your client wants to see, depending on the information you want to share with because there are too many things to include in the data. So what is insightful? What is going to make your client make better decisions? Is it sales data? Is it sales? Are they trying to find out, are we going to news? Should we go to news? new location, or is it customers? Why are our customers like this? Or is it the quantity, or is it our product? So you should know what your clients want to see and the business question, your business case or question you're trying to solve to decide the KPIs you're going to use. So please always remember that and pay attention. So just for teaching purposes, I'm going to add another categorical data so we can do it again. So I do city. I don't throw, okay, see what I do. If I throw city in here, if I bring city here, let me remove this. So if I bring city and put here, oh, this is okay. This is going to be a bit complicated. Let me make it easier. Let's take state or province. Good. So I take state and province and I put it here. So now it's taking me, okay, it's getting to the map, so I don't want it, so I'll remove it. And I'll do city, let's count. So I just take city and I put it here. Number of city. No, I don't want this. So I'll remove this, remove, and I'll remove. So why city and state did that is because you can see it's a geographical data. Like I mentioned, when you put a geographical data, it now tries to highlight, it tells you this map visual is what you're going to use. Good. So now, no, I don't want you like this. What do I want? I want the count of cities. And what do I do? Yes, I change it to a number. So measure. And am I going to do count? It's also going to give me 9,426. No, that's not what I want. I want a distinct count. So the measure, I do the drop down beside the city peel, and I go to measures and I do distinct count. And now I have 1,424 cities. We operate in 1,424 cities. So you can play around with the state or province, or the other categorical data. So we see how that works. Okay, so very good. So now we have about 1, 2, 3, 5 KPIs. Everybody wants to see sales. Are we making sales? I want to see your profit. Good. So everybody, before you're telling any CEO anything, management wants to see your figures. Okay, this meeting, are we making sales? Are we making profit? Before any other thing. So for me, I'll always put, especially if they are privileged to see the financial data. But if it's maybe, let me say, people that are not meant to see the financial data, so you don't need to put it. But I think most people who are decision makers will want to see the money. So that's it. And okay, well, there's something else. So profit, right? Sales and profit. These are currency. This is currency. But then it's not showing as currency, it's showing as just normal figures. Number of customers, we don't need the currency. Number of cities, we don't need currency. Total quantity sold, we don't need the currency. We don't need to put them in currency format. So, but the profit and the sales, we definitely need to put them in a currency format. So I'll show you how we do that. So when you come to profit, this is profit. Remember, look at my cursor, follow my cursor down here, and I do profit, and what do I want? The peel. Remember, I click on the peel, this, and I go to default properties, and I do number format. That's the number format. Currency custom, I do the currency custom. Decimal places, no, I don't want decimal places. I want 0 decimal places. So if there were decimals, it's going to do this. And negative values, how you want it to show. You want to show in brackets, or you want to show negative. I want to show negative. And display units, I don't want any. Okay, I think you did this. You've always done, you should have come across display units. So I want it to be in millions or this, but I don't want to see all the figures. So if it's millions or them, but if you have really large numbers, so you can make it in millions. So for now, let me do this in millions. I'll do this in millions, but I'll revert. And the prefix, this should be rand or something, but we're going to change that to a familiar currency. And I click OK. I'll do that again. Display unit, I want it to show in millions, and I click OK. Yeah, so it has 8.95 millions, but then I don't want to do that. So remember, how do I undo? I go to the top and I undo. Control Z, undo. Good, so I have this. So I go back and I set this up, sales, and what do I want? Number format, and I custom. I don't want decimal places. I don't want any display unit, so I leave it as it is. And I go to, I want it to have negative. I don't want it to have the negative value as brackets. And I don't want rand or rupees, so I'll go, I think this is rupee, yeah. So I'll go to standard currency. So you choose what do you want. So usually it's by language, it makes it easier. So if I'm searching for naira, I won't see naira. If I'm searching for dollar, I won't see dollar. So if I'm doing English, so it gives me all the English country, English countries that their lingua franca is English or whatever it is. Not lingua franca, but their basic language is English. So either United Kingdom or United States. So if you're picking English United States, that means it's gonna be in dollars. You see that? Okay, when we apply, okay. But let's pick English United Kingdom. More money. Yeah. I would have taken the Kuwaiti rand, but it's okay. Let's do Kuwait. I like plenty money. Yeah, let's do Kuwaiti rand. It's more money. So good. So it's Kuwaiti rand and oh no, sorry. It gives me Arabic figures. Let me leave it at dollars. Pounds. Okay. Let's do pounds. I didn't okay the zero. Okay, good. So we have this. So if you want to do naira, this is data. So when you're working on your project, I think, which will be food tracker project, so you're going to have to choose naira. And naira is you're not going to search for English. So you search it doesn't have, so you search for Igbo, Yoruba, Hausa, I think, and then it comes up. Please always pick Igbo. I'm Igbo and Igbos like money. So put Igbo, so you do the Igbo naira, but that's okay. So good. So this is how we're going to do this. And for profit, so very quickly, I know what I want for profit. So I go for profit and we do this speedily. We want 0, no display unit, and I click OK. I go back because I want to change it to pound, and I go standard. And what do I want? I want English United Kingdom. Okay, so good. So now we formatted these as currency. Good. So now let's build visuals. So these are KPI, just figures. Good. So now let's build visuals. So what do I want to do? We want to see the sales and profit. I want to put the sales and profit by year. Okay, yeah. So this is going to help us maximize our time and learn a lot on one visual. So this is, I'm going to do sales, want to compare the sales and profit by year. So what year are we going to do? We're going to use the order date. Order date should be your primary date. Order date, because that's when you record an order. That's when you record your sales. You don't record your transaction on the ship date, the day you shipped it. No. So you record your transactions on the day you order. So we're going to use the order date. So we're always going to use the order date. So order date with a column. Yeah, so we have this. And what do I want to see? I want to see my sales. Yes, sales, it goes to row. So we see that. So we have our money here. So yes, I said, well, I was going to, so now we have the sales and we have the order. And I told you about flipping the axis. Follow me. look at my cursor under the server window, under this at the top, under server window. So I flip this. So you see how it is, but no, that's not right. So I flip it back. Good. So this is what I want. But then, you know, when we have hierarchies, you should have done or come across hierarchies when you're creating hierarchies. So hierarchies, for example, we have the date hierarchy. So date hierarchy gives us, we have the year, another year, we have quarter, we have month, we have days of the week, right? Sometimes some people have week before days of the week. So week 1, week 2. So we have day 1, 2, 3, and then week 1, 2, 3, like that. And we have the month, and we have the quarter, and we have the year. So if you want to drill down, or drill down to this hierarchy, you click on this. And you want to drill down to see the month. You want to click down to see the days. Now this is a lot of data because it keeps saying January 1 to the date here. It's long, so I'll go back to month. And also this is quite a lot of data, so let's leave it at quarter for now. Let's go back, quarter for now, but that's not what we want to do, so I'll just leave it at year. Good. Yeah. And then I want to do a comparison between the sales and the profits. So this is sales, and I click, remember, drag and drop. I drag the profit and put it beside the sales. So now this is what we have. Does this look good? No. Would you want to combine the chart? Yes, that's the best. It looks better. But now you can see, oh good, awesome. So now you can see it's showing you the different things different charts available for this kind of data. And because there are no geographical data on this, so the geographical tabs, the geographical visualizations are not highlighted. So that means you can't do anything geographical with this, which is awesome. So now we do this. So what do I do? So there are two ways to show this. So you can either we call it the dual axis or the blended axis. So let me tell you, if you want to do the dual axis, we have sales here and we have profit here. And then maybe if you want the profit to come up and the sales to come down, you can either easily just switch. When the arrow shows this arrow, you drop it. So it has shifted. But no, now we want to let's revert, undo. And so I want to combine these two charts. This, I'm going to do the blended axis. If I want to do the blended axis, I click on this, the sum of profits. I click on it and I drag it and I hover it around here. I'm going to talk very slowly here. So I hover it around here, and this ruler, these two rulers show. Then when they show, you release, you drop it. Now we have a blended axis. Now both of them are showing that both of them are measures, right? You can see that both of them are measures. So you can see, and then it has just added it. And because this is sales, it shows you sales. Sales is definitely higher. And you run through, you see how this works. And this, how we work. This is profits. Obviously, profits is lower. And this is sales lower for each year. So, but I wouldn't do this. This doesn't really look good, but some people like it. But some people do that. I think that's why it's available. So I'll undo. And so what would I want to do? I'll rather do the dual axis. Dual axis. Dual. D-U-A-L. Dual axis. But then the other one was blended. Like blend tomatoes. Blend pepper. Yeah, that was the other one was blend. And this is dual, like two. D-U-A-L. Dual axis. So what do I do? How do I achieve the dual axis? So I click on any of them, profit, sales. I come here to this numerical axis or anywhere, and I right click. When I right click and the options come up, I see dual axis and I click on dual axis. Yeah, it's okay. I'll leave this out. Yeah. So now I have them together. Dual axis. So what can I do? I can either drag it like this, so it extends. No, this doesn't look good. Yeah, or extend. And then, or what do I want? I want to see the data labels because this is very confusing. This is very confusing. It's a lot of data. So what do? I'm going to right click. I'll right click this and I'll uncheck show header. I'll right click on this and I'll uncheck show header. Good. And so I want to show the data labels. So I click on this, the sales, I want to see the label and I take it to this text here, label. Remember I told you this is, if you want to do your data label, you throw it into label. The sales data has shown. I'm going to increase this. I'm going to increase. This is to increase. Look at it. I'm trying to increase the size of this. Yeah. Okay. So, and then, so we have the values for sales. And I take profit and profit. I put it here to text. Yeah. So the data label comes up. So, but then I can format it. So there are different formatting ways. So I choose, oh, if it's the profit axis or the sum axis or this, whatever I want to format. So let's do profit. Okay, the number, alignment. I want it showing like this. Let me do, I want it in, okay, no, these are totals, so this wouldn't show. No. Access, sorry. Okay, wait, I'll leave this. Well, this is, we'll come later to this. Okay, so whatever, this is what we have, and let me see. Let's skip this. It's taking a lot of our time. We can do that. I can do that in the next class. So I'm just trying to show you how this works. And okay, yes, I said if we're going to do, and this is highlighted, analysis. I want to show forecasts. I do show forecast. It extends to 2013, 2014, and yes. So these are our dates. I'll undo forecast. And yes, we have our data. Okay, that's it. And the next one, so this is what we have here. We can do, so I'm going to do profit, sales and profits. I'm renaming my worksheet. Sales and profit by profit trend by year. Okay, so we have this, and I add another one. Let's do something geographical. Okay, let's do the product. Let's do product category. And subcategory, product subcategory. And let's do this. Or I switch it. And then I add quantity sold. Let's do quantity sold. So either I this quantity sold, now it's number. So either I add it here. When you don't add a number, it just shows ABC, ABC. So either I add it here as text, or I undo, or I add it here in this ABC. I just drag it and I drop it here that says show me. So this is what we have, right? So this might be a lot of details. So let me remove the subcategory. Yeah, we can work with this like this, and we can use ascending or descending. Remember, under the window tab. Yeah, so this is in, yeah, the top, the biggest is, this is ascend, this is descending. This is descending. Yeah, all good. And so it shows us, so going to the show me the kind of visuals we can work with this. So it's going to show me this, so this is good. So I'll take a pie, or I'll use the tree map. No, let's save our tree map for when we have more values. Let me use the pie. Yes, and so I have the pie. Now resize it. It doesn't look so good. Right. So I want a pie. Let me undo the resize. Yeah, okay. So remember, you can always change the colors. Edit colors. These are horrible colors, but just for teaching purpose. Yeah. Okay. And so I want the label, and what do I want on the pie? Sales. Why is this not maintaining its color? It's the shape. Okay, so I'm dragging, I'm expanding it, hover around it, and the expansion arrow comes. Let me hover. Yeah, so this is it. So this is going to be product category by sales. Sales by product category, that's a better name. Sales by product. I think, let me check my time. Okay, very quickly. Let me do two more. Let me do something with geographical data. Okay, let me do profit by state. Good, profit by state. So I choose the state or province. I just drag and drop. It picks this. So I'm not, let me put on my internet. Okay, so now I have my map, and so I put so the map visuals, the two map visuals are showing. So I put the state and province, and this map, it's not coming up. So I might need to go to the map settings and edit map options. No, not map option. Map edit locations. Good. Okay, because it has picked my location, my internet is on, and it has picked my location, and my regional or default location is Nigeria. So, and then these states are in the United States, right? So I'm gonna click United States. United States. Yeah, so now it's coming up. It's trying to match that. It's trying to match that state or province. So it's trying to match that. So it's matching it. So we can see, so when I click on it, it's going to match. So I don't know if it's the internet, or let me just give it some time, and I click OK. Beautiful. So now it comes, so it's located that this is the United States map, and it has, yeah, these are showing. So, but what do I want? So now we have the states, and these are, so this bubble maps, what do I want to show? Is it profits or sales? So I'm going to take it and I'll throw in there. So the bigger the sales, the bigger the bubble map. The bigger the sales, the bigger the bubble map. The bigger the sales, the smaller the sales, the smaller the bubble map. Montana is giving us a negative value, so it's really tiny. But we can see New York, it's good, it's big, it's large, it's really large. And Illinois and Texas and California. So these are really, really performing cities. Yeah, maybe because of their size or whatever, but now we know that, and we can see a visual representation. So this is very impressive. If you have to show this to management, we just say, okay, oh, let me see these people, oh, let me see, oh, this country, oh, this city, oh, this state, let me see. It's very beautiful to see. So remember to always go to if it's not showing, go to the map settings, edit location, because at default it's going to bring Nigeria according to your location. So if you're in Nigeria, I think your default map will be Nigeria. If you're in the UK, your default map will be the UK. So always try to set that so you don't get stuck. So that's it. Yeah. So this is what we have here. And yes, okay, I also want to see data labeled. I want to see the sales. I want to see the figures. So I throw this and I put it in the text. Remember, I just drag and drop it in the text. And yes, so I can see the figures now. I don't need to hover. So I put sales and I put profit, and okay, yeah, so I can hover around it. Sales, let me see if I put profit in the label too. So I have profit. So let me remove this from the bubble size and see how that's going to work. So the bubble size, you can see the bubble size, everything is now the same. This thing. But if you don't want your map being so busy, depending on what you want to see, right, you can do this. And then another trick. Okay, good. So let me use this and teach you filters. So if you're teaching, if they don't want to see all the states, let's say they want to see the top performing states. So we go to states, province, and drop it in here in this filter region. Good. So we drop in this filter region, and I'll select none. And so I remember we had California was a big state, and we have New York. We have New York. We have Texas. Yeah, we have Texas. Illinois, was it Illinois? I think. And was it Washington? Whatever. Let's use this. Let's say, okay, we want to just the 5 states, and we do apply and okay. So let me reduce this. Yes. So it's just giving us this 5. To filter, you can filter to this. They don't want to just select the states that they want to see. But then management is too busy to have all that data in their head. So if they say, oh, let's see what the top 5 states are, or let's see the top. So you already know, you've done the background work. So you just show them this 5 and it looks good and they can easily hover. So you decide if you want to do this, put the text, the sales and profit as data labels, or you want it to hover, or you want to put them as in the size, use the size. Remember, we put sales, so it determines the size. So the bubble map is by the size. Yeah. So I'll remove that again. Oh yeah, it's okay. Let's leave it. So this is just for teaching purposes. You make better chart, better visuals, so your dashboard looks really good. Okay, so I'll rename this as sales and profit top 5 states. 5 selected states. 5 states by, so I don't know if it's top or whatever, that's why I removed the top. 5 states by sales and profit. Sales. Okay, so we have this and one more. Let me do one more which doesn't have to do with, let's do one more, and let's use product category, a drag and drop. And what do I want? Let's do sales or quantity or something, whatever. Let me do sales. And so what do I want? I want to filter the subcategory. So I take this subcategory and I filter. And how do I want to see? Instead of selecting this, we can do our top, right? So either we do top by field, either top or bottom. Let's do top. Our top 10 or top 5, let's do top 10 by sales. So we have sales, so I can either do by sales or by profits. Let's leave it as sales. And then it's going to give us the sum. And I apply and I do OK. So it has taken us, it has limited it to the top 10 subcategory by sales, and I put it in descending order, so this looks better. And which of the charts should we use? We can either use this looks beautiful, or we use the tree map. This looks beautiful. Let's just use this because I know this is not in Power BI. We've been doing, I think tree map is in Power BI, so let's use this is not in Power BI. And what do we want to see? I want to see the sum of sales. So these bubbles are as big, so the sum of sales, depending on what big, the biggest. That's how the circles are. So I'm also I want to see the labels, the amounts, the figures. So I'm going to drop it in label. Yeah, so we can see that. So this looks good. So I'm going to stop here. For now, that is for building charts. So we could go on, and I don't want this to really extend. So we could go and build our dashboard. So this is, what is this? This is product top 10 product sub category by sales. Remember, always give your charts and your dashboard, always give them very intuitive names, so whoever you're presenting to just sees it, and so they don't see that, start asking, what is this about? What's this about? No, give it very intuitive name, so it just sends the message. People are busy and nobody has the time to start looking at all that. Okay, very good. Thank you. We've come this far. I hope you're learning. This is not a live class, but I'm so excited and I hope you're learning. And so the next thing we're going to do is to put our dashboard together, which is the goal of this lesson. So if we're able to put our dashboard together, that means good, success. So now I don't add new worksheet. No, I don't need new worksheet. I want a new dashboard. So I click on the dashboard, new dashboard. And so the new dashboard appears. Ta-da! So we have a clean worksheet. So it's not like in Excel you have to start formatting, removing grid lines and this and that and that. Good. So this you do. So how do you want the size, your canvas size to show? So this is default is, I think, browser. This is the default, so this is the desktop size. Or I'll choose yeah, so either choose what you want. You can make it bigger. Let's just do it bigger. Let's do it this. So you can always choose what you want. Or maybe let me reduce it before it goes off. Okay, let's leave this. Let's use this. So it's a custom size, so you can decide what you want. There's a drop down and you can pick what you want. There's a drop down, you can select whatever you want. So I'll use this. And all our sheets, all the sheets we worked on are here now. So these are our KPIs, our 5 KPIs, and we have the four charts. So we're going to do, so the first thing I want to bring in my KPI first. No, I don't want to go back. A dashboard, yeah, this is our dashboard. And I want to show my dashboard title. Yes, the dashboard title is Superstore. So what did I do? Sorry, I clicked here, I double clicked, and the sheet name came out. So I'm going to do Superstore sales data 2019 to, I think, 2022. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm right. So let's use it that way. Okay, I delete this sheet name and I apply and okay. So we have our header. Always have you always have a header for your, please always have a header for your dashboard. You should always have a name, and you try to put the company logo, right? Put the company logo so you can bring that in by image. You should have been doing that, so I don't want to make this video very long. And so I don't need this show me anymore because I'm not creating charts. So I'm just going to close this yeah, uncheck that. Okay, good. Let's use this so I can see the view. So now I'm going to bring in my total sales. So for this, I don't want the sheet name to show. Yeah, I don't want the sheet name to show. And I don't want it tiled, so I want to be able to move it around. So I'm going to uncheck, follow my cursor. I'm going to not uncheck tiled, so I'll check floating so I can move it around. Okay, so to get this to look smaller because it's really extended, right? I'm going to go to the layout and I'll turn it to floating. The initial floating I did was for the entire dashboard, but I think I'm going to just put it back in tiled so it doesn't move. So I'm going to go to this. This is the KPI I brought in, and I'm going to put it as floating, and I don't want the title to show. So I just want to put it as floating. But then when you're working on this, you format, remember where we did the currency and all that, you can format, just play around. You can format the size of this. No, let me see. You can format the text. I can do this later. Let's do this later, please. Yeah. So this is so I have this here, total sales, and I'm going to reduce this. So either I reduce it this way or I use this and I make the weight. So if it's bigger, remember, if your text is bigger, I want the height. Let's do uniformed 60. I want the height 60 and I want the width 30. So I have it here. And what is this? Total sales. So I go back to the dash. So this layout was for the total sales KPI. And I go back to the dashboard and I bring this because I want a header. Total sales. Okay. I move it. I go to layout. I try to adjust it. I want it to be this size, 130/60. So please always do this. Okay, so total sales, what do I want with total sales? I go back, I go to the layout. It was in dashboard. I go to layout and I choose floating, right? And remember it was 130, right? 130/60. I want it uniform. Yeah. Position, I'll do 21, so it's uniformed. I'll put it above this. Yeah, it's aligned. I'll go back to my dashboard and I bring in this. Layout, I make it floating. I don't want to title. I want it 130. This is for uniformity. And 60. I want it at the X position 21. And then I can move this how I want it. I think this should be total profit. Okay, total profit. Total profit. I bring you back, I bring it this way. Total profit. So I'll change this because this should be undo. I want to move this and move this. Yeah, it's total sales. I want it floating so I can move it around. Yes. So format this. And the next thing is total quantity sold. So I'll do total quantity. I'll go back to the dashboard item and put in a text. I double click. Total quantity sold. Okay. Remember, I go to the layout and I make it floating and I bring it here. I want it 130, 60. No, I have to make it bigger because it has more text. So whatever, make it uniform. Or let's just leave it at total quantity. Okay. And so we go back to our 130. Okay, good. Good. And I want it to be at 21 axis, x-axis 21. And I go to my dashboard and I bring in the value. I go to layout, I make it floating, I undo title, and I want it to be 130 by 60. And I want the x-axis to be 21 to be uniformed. Then the y-axis, I'll move it myself. Yeah. I go back to my dashboard and I pick, what's the next? Number of customers, yes. I pick number of customers, so I add a text first. Total customers. Click OK. Layout, I want to float in 130, 60, 130, 60, axis 21. Enter, and I move it. No, undo. Total customers floating 130, 60, 21, so it's uniformed. Then for the y-axis, I move it the way I want. Total customers, this is bigger, so I'll expand this. Yeah. And I bring in the value. I'll go back to dashboard. Layout, I want it floating, I don't want the title. I want it 130, 60, x-axis 21, y-axis I'm pulling myself. And number of cities, total cities, or number of cities. So I bring in, I go back to dashboard, text, number of cities, okay. I go to layout, I want it floating. I drag, okay, either I drag, let me do this. Let me continue with the uniformity. I'm making sure I do this because when I was learning Tableau, my teacher didn't teach me this. It was very, it was a lot, and yeah, I think it's important to know. And this is 21. And so I drag it to get to the y-axis. And what do I want? I go back to dashboard and I want the number of cities. I drag and drop. I go to layout and I float and I don't want the title and I want it 130, 130 and the height by 60, so it's uniformed. And I want the position to be 21, and by the time I drag and drop it might move a bit, but that's okay. So I do 21. Yeah, so it's uniform. So for the others to do the same. So good. So we have our KPIs here, but remember you can format it to do what, so it's a bigger font and all that. I don't want this video to exceed an hour 30 minutes, so yeah, I can go back to that. So after that, I bring in, so I go back to my dashboard. So now we have our KPIs here. Dashboard, we have 4 charts we want to bring in. So I'll bring this, so drag and I'll drop. And what do? I go to layout and I do floating so I can resize it and I move it this way. All right. I can do, let's show grid. I can use show grid, so it can, this is for the dashboard to show grid, right? So I can, so instead of doing the uniformity I was doing, I could use I could manually make sure, okay, this is aligned. So when I finish the alignment, I decide to remove it. Okay, good. and I drag. I want it longer. And yes, I want to show title. Yes, I want to show, I'll leave it as show title. And it depends on what I want. Let's just do it this way. Yeah. I go back to dashboard and I bring in this sales by I go to the layout and I make it floating and I move it this way. So I move it this way. Let me do this. I want borders. Okay, let's just use borders for this. And let's use borders for this so we can easily, we can easily see. So you can customize the borders when you have the borders. You can say how thick you want it. You can choose the color. Let's choose this. Yeah, I know these colors are hideous, but it's just for teaching purposes. So you can play, yeah, and this is even good. So you can play around with it, and you're not going to give me all this mixture of colors so I know you're doing something else. You're not just giving me this mixture of colors. So I'll maximize this. I'll increase this, and I'll reduce this. So either I do it this way manually, or I come here and I make the size uniform. So let me say the height of this is 296 and this the height is 298. So it's not really, so instead of me to look and keep moving and moving, I can decide to just do it this way and it's the same height, right? Good. And so these are the colors. These, we don't want this to show because this is a dashboard. This is from the sales and profit trend by year. I'll right click and I'll remove, I don't need to right click. I'll just highlight it and use this remove from dashboard. I do this and I remove from dashboard. I do this and I remove from dashboard. Yeah, okay. And I go back to the dashboard and I bring in 5 states by whatever. I go to layout, I make it floating, and I bring it down here. I increase it. So you know how you want it uniformed, right? And I make it wider. Please, I don't want to see dashboards with irregular shapes. Thank you. Okay, good. So I put a border. Now, coats of many color, I put a blue border. Remember, I don't want to see the multicolored of yeah, I don't see. Okay. So why is this? I don't want this container, so I'll have to remove it. Yeah, so I have this and this. I don't want it on my dashboard. And so we have 5 states by sales profit. I go back to my dashboard and I pick to this and I put it here. I go to layout, I make it floating and I drag it and drop here and show title. This title is too long, so it's making it. Okay, let me reduce this one. So I can expand this. Let me reduce this just for the purpose of teaching. Okay, I think this needs more space. So I'll make this float. I'll move this. I'll reduce the size so it can show a bit. I'll reduce it. No. It needs more space. It needs more space to express itself. Okay. Okay. This obviously needs more space for expression, and it needs a bigger vertical column. So I'll do this. We'll work out something. I don't want this on my dashboard. So I'll move this way. This is not uniform, but I don't want this class to extend. So you do something better. Okay, this is beginning to show. And I make it wider. Yes, good. And this is the okay. Let me put this. This should have a border, yellow, bold. I'm making this really ugly, so you don't just copy word for word what I do. Yeah. Let's do something like this. Good. So we have this, and I'll go back to my dashboard and I'll remove the grid lines. So this is clearer. I go to my sales by profit trend, and on this worksheet, what do? I remove the grid lines. How do I remove the grid lines again in this format? Yeah, I don't want the grid lines. Yeah, so this is where you get grid lines on the worksheet here. Format, and these lines, remove it. So yeah, I don't have the grid lines. I go back to my dashboard, and it is so why is this not highlighted? Okay, so we have this, and we have our product category. We have all this, and I'll name this dashboard Superstore. So we have Superstore sales data. So this is what it should be like. So you adjust so everything shows. Yeah, but you should do something better. And if you want to see this, the windows, presentation mode. Yeah, so this is what it looks like. Quite decent. Okay. So I think that's it. So let me see. We're almost at the 130 mark. Okay, let me try and format this. Okay, so to format this, like to format this so it's bigger, or you want to change the colors or something, so I right click on this and I do format. So it takes me to this font, right? And I decide this is what I want. Yeah, I want the sum of sales. And what font do I want? I want it to be this color, and I want it bold, and I want it 12. Yeah, let's do it this. Has an underline on italics. Yeah, let me remove the underline. Just something. I'm doing this for teaching purpose. And so let's go back. Let's see how it appears now on the dashboard. Yeah, so you see how it is. So you know if you're increasing it. So depending on what you do, and then you know you're increasing the size because this no longer works. Yeah. So like I said, this is just for teaching purpose. So you can edit this and see how it works. And I hope this comes in very useful for you. Thank you, and see you in class.